Okay, so here we are. We're in Iowa. You couldn't have asked for a better ending for Jason's trip. Last year he ate a tag. Last year he chased a deer called a black widow. He rode that deer hard again this year. And me, it's extremely impressive when a guy picks a deer that he wants to chase, gets him under your skin, and he doesn't give up. Jason didn't do that. Had an encounter with that deer last year, ate his tag, came back this year, got lucky and a blessing in disguise and missed a world-class 8-pointer, ended up killing Black Widow.
I've said it for years. This is my favorite hunt.
I'm up to bat, it's my turn. Hopefully I can do, close to a repeat of last year.
I say year after year, this is one of my favorite hunts. Not because we're in the state of Iowa where there is giant whitetails, but it is my favorite hunt because we get to go out, we get to chill out. It's not like the rut, it's not such a grind. It's gun season. We kick our feet back. We don't hunt a lot of the mornings, but most important, we spend a lot of time with really good friends who have become like family to us.
I wasn't on this Iowa hunt, but I have hunted this Iowa farm many times, and it is probably the best ground that I've ever stepped foot on. In saying that, that doesn't mean that you're always going to get the big buck. People watch the shows and they think they've got this spectacular ground in the Midwest and they can go out and 2 days later they got a giant deer. It's not like that. Believe me, I promise you, it's not like that.
I can never ever complain about Three Forks in Iowa. This farm is amazing and it has been amazing to me. I've hunted it for since 2009 off and on when I can get a tag. Last year I killed an absolute world-class typical, the biggest typical of my life, Boomtown 10. That is a freaking giant. Oh my gosh, what a deer. And he walked up here and gave us a 50-yard shot. I've been coming to Midwest for 14 years. This is my first net typical boom. And this year I'm always, in the past, I've usually had a good year, and then the next year is usually one that I struggle. And man, this year has been a struggle. So by the time, I get to this hunt after the fall I've had, I'm literally, it's hard not to have it right there in your mind. Am I getting ready to have more bad luck? And, I had to be ready to eat a tag on this farm because it's upper end management. If it's not the right deer, if it's not the right age class, we don't shoot it. And I was in for the ground. This is kind of like a coming home. Last year, I hunted all of 4 hours and killed Boomtown over here. We're going back to that hole tonight. High pressure, bluebird, barometric pressure is like 30 something. Exactly where we need it to be. Wind has died down to nothing, 29 degrees, feels like it's 12 right now. Yeah, we're going in after a flyer tonight or one of the other big bucks that's over here. So, Beamer, baby giant, the infamous baby giant that never ever makes a mistake. So we'll see, but it just feels good. So it's the first night, and as Chris would say, it's a parade of bucks. I mean, we got bucks coming in and out of the food plot. I love this particular food plot, not only because I've killed a couple of really good deer out of it, but it basically sits in a spot to where there's 3 ditches that run up, and in those ditches, deer pile in every day to bed. So we've got it in an interior corner. The deer naturally like to stage there before they go on out to the big destination fields. And we always leave, you know, every single year we leave standing grain there, whether it's beans or corn. It doesn't matter. They're gonna be there, they're gonna do their thing. And that's one of the things that I promise you, if you'll do, once you identify those spots that deer like to be and you put the food they need for this time of the year, it will work for you consistently year after year. As this parade's going on, it's getting later, and just as you would know it, a deer shows up, a deer we call Old Ward, because he's got a swagging belly and not much of a rack, mature 8-pointer, he's 6, 7, 8 years old, and you know, he comes up in the corn, and I elected to pass. We've got some bigger deer on the farm, and you know, day one, you have to be willing to do this. Do not pass a deer you would shoot on day 8 on day 1, and little did I know how much that was going to ring true over the next few days.
Make sure you subscribe and like the page. On top of that, make sure you click the little notification bell. That way you'll be one of the first ones to know when a new video drops. You know, the house is packed absolutely full of guys. We got myself, Eric, we got Jeff Peel, we got Chase, Keegan, you got James from Open Season, you got Hunter that filmed James, you got Quentin from Above the Game TV. I mean, there's a ton of people here. These are all good friends. It is just an absolute blast.
I tell you what, we have such a good time here every year. If you cannot have a good time in this camp, regardless whether deer hit the ground, there is something wrong with you. Check your heartbeat. Deer camp food. I mean, what do you expect?
In my mind, what I like to do is late season, is I like to pick 1 or 2 spots on one of our farms with a consistent wind and just literally grind if I've got good entry and exit. And on our farms, we have excellent entry and exit routes, so we can literally hunt a spot if the wind stays consistent day after day. And we got guys up here pushing deer, and there's a big ditch that runs up here. There's a lot of deer drain into this ditch, and we think we've seen a good deer, so we're just trying to be patient and see if we can actually see him. So this is the epitome of what second shotgun out here is about, and that's just getting out and grinding around in the morning trying to find a big deer to shoot. So it might work. It hasn't ever for me yet, but there's a first time for everything. You literally can't make that stuff up. Beautiful, nice Sunday evening, shotgun season, trying to kill a booner, and the neighbors are over here riding horses. So they're literally riding through every bit of it. The only good thing is they're riding their own ground. So.
50-degree days bring out the crazies, I'll tell you that.
Nothing like seeing that right before you walk into your stand, is it?
You couldn't put me on the back of a horse during shotgun season in Iowa. People get shot when they're not on the back of horses around here. That's crazy.
Oh well, I've seen crazier things happen. This is what I was doing. I knew I had a buck on this particular part of the farm we call Beamer. It's a buck that I just got under my skin early in the summer. We had these pictures of him. He's got these big sweeping beams, typical 11-point, no doubt an absolute pig. That's the deer I wanted. And sure enough, this deer shows up right in front of the blind, but there was a problem. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm having a blast tonight watching all these deer. Here's Beamer, literally right in front of the blind. I mean, I could have thrown a rock and literally probably knocked him out. Problem is, he's lost 20 inches. He's got a brow miss, an inside point, another point broke, and it was one of those deals where it's just like, man, you know, you shoot this deer, he's got 20 inches broke off of him. What would he do with one more year? So it just is what it is. I mean, we've all 8 tags on that farm. I just decided I'm going to let this deer go as the right thing to do, and hopefully one of us will catch up with him next year. So now I'm halfway through the season, starting to panic a little bit. You know, that tag's eating a hole in my pocket. I've had a rough year. It's still in my mind. I'm starting to second guess myself, and I hate when I do that. When I start second guessing myself, it's almost like I'm accepting failure before it even gets close to happening. And what I started doing was bouncing. And that was a thing I don't like to do, is just starting to chase deer that you don't even know if they're there or not. So I started going here. I started going to this spot. I started hunting the east side, going to the set we call south side. And it just wasn't working. And Jason, you know, they're out riding around one morning and they saw the giant 8-pointer again that he had missed, and he's like, man, he's in the zoo, let's go hunting. You know, I think that's where you need to go hunting. Drop you guys off, that's where you need to be, and that's what we did. I think the worst place you ever want to be in is with 3 days left in a season and you got a tag in your pocket. I've passed a couple of nice deer on this trip, but I mean, we're really trying to, you know, do some upper end management on this farm, and unless they're, you know, 5 years old and some bucks we've agreed to shoot, we just don't shoot. So coupled with just the weather's off the wall. It's been like cold one day, hot the next day.
After I killed Black Widow, I told Eric, I said, you need to go back to that hole where I was at. He was kind of skeptical because where I had missed the 8-pointer and then I killed Black Widow, but the 8-pointer was still there. We knew he was there.
So we get down there, awesome night. You know, this food plot is set perfect for a south wind to take multiple ditches. Deer love to stage here. Black Widow's already showed himself up.
So Eric takes off, he goes down there one evening, and sure enough, right before dark, here he comes off the ridge.
And right at night, you know, last light, wouldn't you know it, here comes this deer.
Behind the tree. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say he's gonna cross this fence and come out right over here.
The problem was, is I knew we were gonna be running close on time. I knew it with the amount of light that camera would capture. Sure enough, deer comes out to 156 yards to the edge of the food plot, stands broadside, and I'm getting settled in, and you could tell by his posture, he starts to turn toward the blind, and I'm like, if I let this deer just come a little bit closer, I'm gonna have a whole lot easier shot. So I rolled the dice. Oh, he's walking right up here. Yeah, hang on, let's let him get closer. Deer did exactly what we thought it could do. The problem was, as the deer is getting closer and closer and closer to the blind, we're running out of light. And, you know, it got to the point to where literally the deer got within about 100 yards, we ran out of light. And, you know, I could have actually shot the deer because the hunter and me really wanted to. And this is a world-class 8-pointer. He ended up giving me a 75-yard broadside shot. I'm gonna have a great shot here just in a second.
It's black. I can't even see him there.
That sucks because I've got a great shot. But we were out of camera light, and you know, at the end of the day, we want to show you the best we can do, lay down the best footage we can lay down to show our stories to you. And I had to let him go. I just had to let him go. I could have easily shot him, but we're out of camera light, and you know what? Tomorrow is another day. We need you to support us, guys. So go over, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And every time we post something, you're gonna get that little bell going off, and you'll know instantly that you can go over and watch it and catch what's going on. One of the things I love about Three Forks in Iowa every single year is we get together, all of us, you know, from different parts of the country, different television shows. This year we've got 2 guys that I absolutely think the world of. I've never hung around James from Open Season TV. He's rolled into camp, one of the coolest guys I've ever hung around with. He's always upbeat. He's one of those guys that, I mean, he can get his teeth kicked in and he won't quit. He will not stop, I promise you. And we've also got Quentin hanging out with us from Above the Game TV. He's killed a booner. He lives right in that part of Iowa where we're hunting. You know, Chase is there, Jeff's there, Keegan's there. I mean, we've just got everybody crammed into camp. You know, Hunter's, he's hanging out with us too. And, you know, it was one of these deals where James was having a season like I was having. He had not killed a deer or seen a mature deer that was even remotely close within range in over 60 days since he killed a giant in Indiana back in October. So at this point for him, you know, he was in the same place I was. I mean, you literally have to check yourself and mentally re-gauge and recalibrate every single day what you're doing. And you simply have to get up, do what you do, the process of getting ready, but you just have to go. I mean, you have to keep going. And at this point, between James and myself, one of us was going to get lucky.
Well, it's our next to last night here in Iowa, and Mother Nature continues to throw us some curveballs. Yesterday we had another 25-mile-an-hour windy day. Today it's 55 to 60 degrees, no wind, but it's a bright, beautiful day. But hopefully these big bucks get on their feet and move. Hunter had to go home today, so I got Quentin from Above the Game here filming me, which means we're going to have luck tonight because Hunter's gone. And we got Eric and Jason from Red Rising TV over on their farm. So hopefully between the two of us, we're gonna get a big buck down tonight.
They're going to the farm we call Hunt Farm. It's not got 15 acres of timber on it, but a bunch of CRP, and it has standing corn on it. And we know it's one of those little places out of nowhere that you wouldn't think any deer are on. And I tell you what, but usually when dark gets there, you know, there's about 20 or 30 deer just stand up and boom, they're right in front of you.
Oh, his GJ just broke off. He's busted. He's on one freaking 80. Oh, here comes another one. Look at that.
This deer is coming in, you know, walking into James's lap. Both of these bucks. I mean, that 10-pointer is absolutely gorgeous. I know, you know, after talking to James and spending some time in camp with him, I know what kind of hunter this guy is. There's no doubt he's getting ready to torch this deer. I mean, this deer's goose is cooked.
Jeff Peel from Tacticam, Chase Lofton, Rubline Marketing, they come in here and did all this work for us this year. Set up the place, put the blinds up for us. Can't thank them enough. This is a complete team effort. We got Above the Game TV behind here. We got Red Rising. Jason killed a giant the other night. Eric's on one tonight. When people say TV guys don't get along, full of crap. We're all friends. We have a good time together. We share these moments. And when you can share moments like this, it is just amazing. And just smoked a good buck. I mean, a solid buck. I don't know how big he is, but he's plenty big enough. Plenty big enough. 50s, I think. Pushing 50s.
After the shot is made, it's one of those deals where you initially think, man, it was just definite. I mean, man, we throttled him. After review and looking at everything, you know, it looks like it was a little bit further back than we thought.
We're just gonna play it safe, because when you're not positive, the best thing to do is just back out, give them some time, and then come back.
And you know, there's no sense in rushing it. We've said it 100 times. If the deer is dead, he's gonna be there tomorrow morning. So why go in and push that deer and jump that deer? Because if he's hit back or low in the guts or something, and you jump him, he may run a mile or 2 miles to 3 other landowners and you'll never find him. So the smart thing to do is just back out, come back in the next morning, and sure enough, within 5 minutes they had that deer.
Go ahead, subscribe to our channel, like it. You're gonna get that little notification bell. It's gonna go off, let you know when something new hits. Follow, subscribe. Happy hunting this fall. We love everybody. Thank you again.
So the smart thing to do is just back out, come back in the next morning, and sure enough, within 5 minutes they had that deer.
Well, we left him overnight. Come back in here this morning. We're gonna hopefully find some blood and follow him. If not, we're gonna start grid searching. Shot didn't look that far back, but I definitely missed the heart, and it's a little lower than I wanted, but there's definitely guts coming out of him, so he must have been quartering towards a little bit, but we're gonna find him. Oh, he's laying right there. That was freaking awesome. Look at that little beast.
Congratulations to James. That's a world-class deer. It's a great buck, and it's on a small property, an outer farm with very little timber. It just goes to show you it can happen on any piece of ground.
Great mass, good threes, cool kicker right here. Just a beautiful Iowa buck. Got it done with good friends. Hard to beat this.
Hats off to James, absolute slammer, Iowa buck. That dude's smile said it all. And you know, for me, what impacted me the most in this industry, it's a small industry, and sometimes the ugly things that I see in this industry are, you know, people try to one-up one another. I'm better than you are, and you know, and I do this and I can do that, and you know, that is setting a terrible example for the people that hunt in this world. We're here personally just to share our stories with you. If you can learn from us, learn from you. If you have a bad day, I hope you watch our show and you like it. Maybe it makes you smile. But at the end of the day, James saying what he said, he's hanging out in camp with us, and it's just about, we're all on the same page. At the end of the day, man, we ain't no different than nobody else. We just like to hunt.
It's not about filling every single tag.
No.
It's about the camp.
We've had the
experience.
funnest camp.
Oh,
It wasn't about who gets the biggest buck or who gets a buck first or whatever. It's about spending time together, the camaraderie, and at the end of the day, a great buck was laid on the ground and everybody had a great time.
He's what we thought he was. Right in the 150s.
Had an awesome hunt here this year. Jason's leaving with a world-class deer. James is leaving with a world-class deer. I had a great hunt, saw a ton of deer. Saw 3-year-olds, the best thing I could see tonight, and I flat out just eat my first Iowa tag, and that's okay. That's why they call it hunting, not killing. But I promise you this, if I can get a tag, I'll be right back here next year because I don't quit. And this year was about finishing the game. I finished the game. I lost it, but I finished.